What is up, everybody? We are just a month out from football season. I'm super hyped about this, but with training camps over and preseason well underway, there are a lot of big news and a lot of takeaways. So I want to get into this. This video will be breaking down 10 things you need to know before the football season starts. Now, these are going to be fantasy football takeaways. And starting us off, we have that the Jets' backfield is going to be split between Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Now, this is very scary for any Breece Hall owners or people heading into y'all's draft. I dropped Breece Hall down your board. Breece Hall is now outside of my top 10 running backs. Even though he's obviously a top 10 when it comes to just skill as far as the NFL goes, he is not going to be there for fantasy production. Braylon Allen is a big back. He's probably going to get the third down work, probably going to get the goal line work. That's something to definitely keep in mind. That's going to make me hesitant drafting Breece Hall. And if you've already drafted and you have Breece Hall, I'd go out and try to trade him and sell him high before this season really tanks his value. Next up, we have that Ricky Pearsall is the only healthy wide receiver on the San Francisco 49ers. We know that this 49ers offense is going to be a good offense with Purdy, with Kittle, with CMC. But with the passing game right now, Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk are both going to start the season out. And Ricky Pearsall is the only healthy wide receiver. And he's been looking very good in preseason. He's had some very good games. So I do expect Ricky Pearsall to start off with, some pretty good numbers, actually a decent streaming fantasy option for your deeper leagues, maybe with two flex, start Pearsall at your second flex. We'll have to see, but I think Pearsall should start the year off pretty hot. Moving on to number 3, we have that Jordan Addison will be suspended for the first 4 games of the season. If you guys didn't know this already, yes, Jordan Addison will be suspended the first 4 games of the season. So obviously this opens up, Justin Jefferson for that first 4 games. He's going to be able to build chemistry with JJ very early. So that's going to be very good for Justin Jefferson owners. And for guys like Jordan Addison owners or people who, Jordan Addison maybe his value's fallen off after the first 4 games, that's probably going to be a good spot to go ahead and buy him low after those first 4 games right before he comes back. Or maybe if he's on the waiver wire option in your league, make sure to pay attention to that and pick him up if your league is shallow enough. So, yeah, that's something to keep your eyes out for. Number 4 is going to be that Alexander Mattison is out for the season. So, yes, Alexander Mattison was the backup running back on the Miami Dolphins this season, and he is now going to be out for the year. So, obviously, this opens up, Jalen Wright in that backfield. He might be a good streaming option in some leagues, but also Devon Achane is probably going to take a crazy bell cow workload. So Devon Achane is already at RB4 in my rankings. I won't be moving him up from that, but very safe at RB4. I like Devon Achane. He'll probably be a bell cow. And then obviously a very high level handcuff is going to be Jalen Wright. Next up is that Jaylen Warren is looking like the bell cow over there in Pittsburgh. So keep your eyes out for Jaylen Warren. This probably won't be a split backfield with Najee Harris anymore. Obviously, they did draft Caleb Johnson, so you got to watch out for that. But Jaylen Warren looks like he's taking majority of the snaps. So I am actually moving Jaylen Warren up in my rankings and dropping Caleb Johnson down in my rankings. Jaylen Warren looks like he's going to be the bell cow over there. Looks like he's going to get majority of the reps. So yeah, Jaylen Warren's stock is increasing and Caleb Johnson's is decreasing. And next up, I'm just going to say buy all of the Cowboys players low right now. When I'm looking at their ADP, I don't understand this. We have guys like that going way later than I think he should. We have CeeDee Lamb going outside the top 5 receivers in some league. I mean, things like this are just ridiculous. CeeDee Lamb should easily be the 3rd receiver off the board. Dak Prescott is dropping to like past QB 17, guys. He is a year removed from having a top 10 QB season. With Pickens added to the offense, with him being healthy, Dak is just going to explode. This also goes for their tight end, Jake Ferguson. I'm buying him low. So I'm just buying all Cowboys players low right now. I think their ADP is very discounted. And next up on the list is going to be something that I did not expect, but Trey Benson has been sitting out the preseason. They've been resting him like he's going to have a pretty big role this season. James Conner really never plays a full healthy season, so the fact that he did last year makes me think that this year he's probably going to get hurt at some point. And when he does, Benson, of course, is going to be a high-level handcuff. So I would be watching out for Benson. They clearly trust him. He's been sitting out the preseason. And then, James Conner, he's always been an injury risk. So he is most likely going to get hurt at some point within this season. I'd be shocked if he didn't. So keep your eyes out for Trey Benson in the later rounds for a high level handcuff. Next up is going to be that Travion Henderson looks really, really good in preseason. Not only did he run a kickback for a touchdown, but just overall, he's been super efficient. They clearly trust him with the ball. Travion Henderson has looked like the steal of the draft, in my opinion. So definitely keep your eyes out for Travion Henderson. I think he's going to jump up draft boards pretty easily and very quickly. So Travion Henderson, I'm liking what I've seen out of him. I've actually moved him ahead of guys like Brees Hall, who has dropped in my rankings. So Travion Henderson could be a top 12, top 10 fantasy running back this year. Obviously, I expect the Patriots to be a lot better than they were last year. And he is way better than somebody like Ramondre Stevenson. So yeah, Travion Henderson, keep your eyes out for him. And next up is that the Bucks have a new offensive coordinator, so I will be fading some of the Bucks players. Obviously, probably not Bucky Irving. If Bucky's still there in round 3, round 4, I obviously take him. But guys like Baker going as like the 6 QB off the board, which I said that wouldn't be a bad spot for him earlier. I've changed my mind on that. I think Baker going 6 QB is crazy. I think you're buying him at the value that he was at last year. I think if you can get Baker around like QB 11, QB 12, that's where you're going to get value out of him, but not at QB 6. Also, Ibuka seems like he's going to have a role, so obviously that takes away from Godwin and Mike Evans. I'm already fading Godwin this year. No way he's going to be able to keep up the production that he did last year, especially in a new offense that isn't going to favor him as much. So yeah, I'm fading some of these Bucks players at their current ADP. Obviously, Bucky looks like he's going to have a good role, but because Rashad White's been hurt, we don't know how much he's going to be involved. So I'm just kind of staying away from all the Bucks players as a whole right now. We know this is an explosive offense, but there are so many mouths to feed. And last but certainly not least is going to be to watch out for Puka Nacua, guys. I know he's a lot of you guys' trade targets and things like that, but Matt Stafford scares me. Not Puka. Obviously, I think the talent's there with Puka, but Matt Stafford at his old age and injury reports really scare me. And Puka's target share last year was absolutely insane. With Devontae Adams now, I don't know if he'll be able to keep that up. Obviously, I do think Puka should still be a first-round pick, but people drafting Puka over CeeDee Lamb, targeting him over guys like CeeDee Lamb, I'm very scared to do that. I'm even taking Nico Collins over him. Like I said, Puka's still a first round pick, still a top 6, 7 wide receiver. But to be taking him in the top 3 over guys like Lamb with all these questions about Stafford and where obviously he's going to play into the offense, I am fading Puka just a little bit, a couple picks behind his ADP. Thank you guys for watching. That is my top 10 things that you need to know before heading into this fantasy football season. Let me know what you guys think, if you agree, disagree, or what you're feeling about heading into this fantasy football. And let me know some things that you guys are paying attention to heading into the fantasy football season. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like for more. I'm going to start posting daily videos. So, yes,